Good people, what's going on? This is Mose Fantasy. We got a great episode for you, and I got family in the building. You already know how it go down when family in the building. We'll be right back with y'all in a second.
Sorry, Mose couldn't be here, but he doing the Mrs. Mosley thing right now. You know, they're out doing. They're enjoying Valentine's Day. Is what I was trying to say.
I got you.
Nah, the worst.
You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. I guarantee real takes, ain't no faking that at all. If you don't know, you gon' know. Mose knows, tune into the show. Not a game, nitty gritty, ready go committee. Mose should be the CEO. Too solid, too real, too 100. I'ma keep it real when you don't. This that real gold talk. 24 karat words. San Francisco 49er fam. Realest squad on the earth. The 5 God, number 5, taking us to 6. Young killer Trey Lance. New era, new season. Mose got you covered. Go ahead and subscribe. 2022 this year. Got a whole nother vibe. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. Tune in for the vibe. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. Mose knows.
Brody,
What's the word?
I hate to brag, yo, but one of the other reasons why I love that intro, and I love the start of the intro, not only because it's our nitty gritty family, right?
Right.
But like when Breezy says what he says, because we all know Breezy got one time in every episode where he say something off the wall.
Every time.
Every single time. But another amazing aspect of that clip is your facial expression, bro. Like when he's out doing the Mrs. Mosley thing, and like your head was down, and you was like, you immediately perked up and was like, wait, what? Bro, that's one of the funniest parts of that clip, and that's why I had to include it. So thank you for being an amazing part of our team. Thank you for being part of my intro. And it's been a long time coming, but thank you for being on Mose Knows. My brother, Fair to God, the proprietor of the Nutso Bunch podcast, 1/4 of the Nitty Gritty Niner Talk podcast. My brother's in the building. What's going on with you, family?
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me. You know, extremely excited to be here. People know the antics and the craziness that occurs when two of us are around together. So expect a little craziness to go on today, right? It's only right. It's only right.
Listen, it was already crazy online through a podcast.
Facts.
We can't even talk about what happened in
the A.
Oh, it was all good stuff. I see Mrs. Mose knows in the building. Listen, it was all positive, fun stuff around football. Yes. Nothing bad. That's why she got the eyes up there. She looking at me like, "What you talking about, sir?" Nothing good. We got our brother 49er throwback in the building. What's going on with you, family? Thank you so much for being here. You're familiar with the show. You tune in, a regular watcher of this show. So we're going to jump right in.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about these top performers. First, our top quarterback of the week is Josh Allen. Had him on my team. Unfortunately, I didn't win. We'll show y'all that a little bit later. 25 of 40, 304 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, 77 yards on 10 carries. Total fantasy points this week of 35.9 for Josh Allen. He is our top fantasy quarterback of the week. Moving over to our second fantasy quarterback, Jalen Hurts. And it's unfortunate that his name is Hurts because right now he is hurt. Fair, we will talk about this, in a little bit.
Yeah.
22 of 37, 315 yards through the air, had no touchdowns and did have 2 interceptions, but he added 17 carries for 61 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let's stay on Hurts for a little bit, not the injury. Well, partially the injury. He had 34.7 fantasy points this week.
Yep.
I want to ask you, bro, do you feel that he should be removed from the MVP conversation because of this injury?
I think it depends what occurs with the Eagles in his absence. Because I feel like, for one, if they can still drive the bus without him, ears may perk up a little bit. If they hit a whole wall without him, is that not most valuable type of performance? Is that not showing that he's definitely one of the MVPs? I mean, it's without question that he is in the league, right? He's definitely one of the best players this year. But man, if they hit a wall and they lose 2 or 3 or all 3, man, that definitely shows how valuable that Hurts is.
Yeah, man. I mean, just this show at Fantasy Top Performers, Jalen Hurts has been in the top 2 for quarterbacks for 4 straight weeks. Week 12, week 13, week 14, week 15. And he was on this list earlier in the season. Now, fantasy performance doesn't equate to automatic MVP winning. But obviously, fantasy performance means you're performing on the field. You're putting up numbers. And not only is he doing it on the ground, but he's doing it in the air as well. I think coming into this season, fans, teams around the league, the Eagles themselves, they wanted to know, is Jalen Hurts a quarterback? Can he win us games throwing the football? And I think this year he's proven that. We got a comment from GSU for Life. He says, so wait, what? So an injury disqualifies you from the MVP race? It doesn't automatically disqualify you from the MVP race, but if you take a look around the league and you look at the betting odds in Vegas, Jalen Hurts has been completely removed from the betting odds.
Wow.
So for you to bet on him to win MVP, he's been completely removed. And there has been a lot of chatter in NFL circles amongst the media that him having this injury and not being able to play the last couple of weeks, if he doesn't play the rest of the season, well, that may catapult somebody like a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Tua Tagovailoa, those guys above Jalen Hurts because he wasn't able to finish. To me, to me, suffering an injury in the last couple of weeks in the season, when you've led your team to a 13-1 record and you've been the most dominant performer at your position throughout the entire season, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't technically disqualify somebody, but for whatever reason, betting odds are changing. And more likely when those betting odds change, we kind of know how that goes. And I agree with you. Betting odds don't translate to wins. Betting odds are for gamblers. I agree. I agree with you 100%, bro. Let's move on to the running back.
GSU too often, for the record. He used to be coming from my head top. It's all right. I'm used to
it. He really does.
I wouldn't be on point if it wasn't for him, man. He keep me on my P's and Q's. I appreciate it.
Look. He started crazy, though.
What I mean?
He said, so Fair show up on time for work. He started off the rip. Top running back is Jerick McKinnon. He had 10 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. 8 receptions on 8 targets for 70 yards and a touchdown. He had the game-winning touchdown in overtime. I don't want to talk bad about Jerick McKinnon.
I do.
But I don't like the way he left the 49ers. And I guess he was upset that we didn't extend him. I remember he got on, Debo Samuel's live, and Debo asked him, So are you coming back to the 49ers? And his response was F no. Like the 49ers did him dirty. So, now he goes to Kansas City. He's kind of regaining form a little bit in this offense. He's kind of showing the potential of what he could have been prior to the ACL injury that he suffered when he first came over to the 49ers. And he had a pretty big day in a game that they struggled against the Texans. What's your thoughts on Jerick McKinnon?
You don't want to talk bad about him. I do. I feel like he stole a whole big old bag from us. And, I get it. He was injured, but even when he came back from being injured, it still just wasn't what we were told it was going to be, right? He was given and put into a bigger role with the Niners. And, I think he was more upset that he was passed by Mostert on the depth chart. And he saw that writing on the wall, so he pieced out. And it is what it is. But to go over there and perform like this, and it feels like this is like the 5th or 6th time I've seen these kind of crazy numbers this season. It's frustrating for me to see because, man, we wouldn't have to do some of the moves that we had to do if McKinnon panned out the way he was supposed to with us. It's a little annoying. Good for him, I guess. But it's a little frustrating to see, man, honestly.
No, it really is, because Jerick McKinnon was supposed to be our version of Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Without us having to go get Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
And now that we have Christian McCaffrey, I'm excited for that. And you're seeing what a running back of his caliber can do, who can run out of the backfield, run in between the tackles, run outside the tackles, who can also can catch out of the backfield, can line up out wide, line up in the slot, and do a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
I think everything that Kyle is doing with CMC right now is exactly what he intended for Jerick McKinnon prior to the injury. So see him do it with the Chiefs, it does sting a little bit. It does sting a little bit. We got a couple more people in the building. Shout out to Uncle Shan. He said 2 more games to win, 2 more. I say 3. I don't want to lose any of the last 3. We got the Commanders. After the Commanders, who we got again?
Raiders.
And then we end with the Cardinals.
Yep.
I don't want to lose none of them games. So we got 3 more games to win. And listen, maybe this Jalen Hurts injury is a blessing in disguise, because if he can't go, or if he's not 100% if he does come back, and somehow the Eagles take a dip. I mean, if we can win our last 3 and the Eagles lose their last 3, it's a possibility we can jump into that 1 or that 2 spot. So I need all 3 of them. We got Perk Dog in the building. Shout out to Perk. He said, "What's happening, Mose and Fair? I don't do fantasy. It just came by the show to show some love to my brothers. Listen, I appreciate you. That means more to me than you coming to give fantasy knowledge, bro. So thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you."
Yeah, man.
We got here go GSU start. Fair. Why do you call yourself Fair the God? You should be Fair the disciple, because your ass don't be leading nothing. Oh, come on, cuz.
I mean, I lead my home in paying bills.
Yeah, that's one.
I also lead at my job.
That's 2.
I lead a group of young individuals on the football field.
That's 3.
And I also lead eating the most at my house. So that's a lot of stuff that I lead here. And I lead with drinking too. I drink the most in my house as well. So it's not, I lead all over the place. I know that ain't godlike, right? But it's still holy.
Yo, this is gonna be a great show, yo.
Yes, sir.
I'm already feeling it. Our second running back this week is Dalvin Cook, 17 carries, 95 yards. He caught all 4 of his targets for 95 yards and a touchdown in this crazy game where Vikings set an NFL record for largest comeback in NFL history. Thank you to the Colts, because that would have put us right in the number 2 spot from Rip. But, you can't have everything. 27 PPR fantasy points this week for Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Moving over to the wide receivers, I love this picture. To see a Cowboys player like about to face plant and give up a touchdown, this is one of the greatest things as a 49er fan. And
That's my
especially somebody who lives on the East Coast where there's Cowboys fans over here for no apparent reason.
Mm.
Forget the Cowboys. We're talking about Zay Jones. Shout out to Zay Jones. He caught 6 of his 8 targets for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns, and what was also a comeback victory for the Jags over the Cowboys. 34.9 fantasy points this week.
Mine. I got that.
You got Zay Jones? You had Zay Jones?
Yeah. He helped me win.
See, at least somebody helped you win. We'll talk about that later.
We're gonna go
Shout
there.
out to Jay Osborne from the Vikings. Colts paid a lot of attention to Justin Jefferson, who still had a day himself. But KJ Osborne caught 10 of his 16 targets for 157 yards and a touchdown, 31.7 fantasy points this week for him. We only got one tight end this week.
Hey.
And he's the best tight end in the league. I don't care what you say. Forget Travis Kelce. George Kittle caught 4 of his 5 targets, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, 25.3 PPR fantasy points this week.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle he's in form, and I think he's ready to go and help us in this final stretch and into the tournament. I think he's going to be one of Brock Purdy's best friends, just as a safety blanket and somebody that Purdy can complete some short to intermediate throws to over the middle. So him clicking at this point and you know, you can see just how he scored this touchdown and the emotion on his face. Like he's engaged now. He's locked in. I feel like in the early part of the season, he's always going to bring the energy. But I think from a performance standpoint, he wasn't locked in and engaged all the way. I think now he's locked in and he's engaged. So it's good to see.
Yeah, and there was a part, I don't know if you saw a picture of Kittle when he caught that first touchdown. He's running down the middle, looking up, and he got the biggest smile ever on his face, like only George Kittle could do, running the football down the middle when people are trying to take your head off. He's just so happy to be playing the game he loves. It's great energy. It's vibrant. And you know what, man? That 25.3 was a long time coming for my boy.
Yeah, man. And what I love about him is, he's a fan of the Joker. He has the Joker tattoo, and he embodies that attitude on the field. Like, you could try to kill him, knock his head off, do whatever you want. He's going to be laughing the entire time.
Facts.
You're gonna think he's taking it as a joke, but that's just his persona to make you feel like it's a joke, and then he punches you in the mouth. So shout out to George Kittle. Top kicker of the week, Chase McLaughlin. Listen, it wasn't Chase's fault that the Colts lost. This man did everything he could. He made all 5 of his field goals, made all 3 of his extra points, had a long of 52. It was not the kicker's fault that the Colts lost this game. So much respect and shout out to Chase McLaughlin for being our top fantasy kicker. 20 points this week in fantasy. We only had one tight end because this has become my favorite segment of the show, bro.
Hey,
these individual defensive performances.
Right.
We're going to first start with Kayvon Thibodeau, outside linebacker, edge rusher for the New York Giants, who I said should have been the first pass rusher off the board.
Easily.
I liked Aiden Hutchinson, but I liked Thibodeau better. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think Trayvon Walker should have been the first overall pick. I felt if they were going to go pass rusher, it should have been Kayvon Thibodeau, and he's showing you why. 12 tackles in all, 9 solo, 3 assists, 3 tackles for a loss, a QB hit, a sack that produced a fumble that he then recovered and then scored a touchdown because he recovered it in the end zone. 29.4 fantasy points for Kayvon Thibodeau. He was an absolute monster. Now, the refs robbed us of a potentially good game. I feel like this game was about to go into overtime, and at the end, the refs robbed us. But if the refs hadn't robbed us, Kayvon had an absolutely outstanding game. He went crazy.
Right. He definitely balled out. I'm a big Florida State fan. So we was recruiting Kayvon to come to Florida State at one point. So I used to watch all his high school highlights, and this dude is a animal. And what's crazy is even at Oregon, you feel like he was just on cruise control, was still abusing folks.
He was.
You know what I mean? So now that he's in the league, you could see he has that other gear that he could turn on. You just know that he could play like this more often, and he needs to put this should be a normal output for somebody of his caliber, of his size, of his speed and athleticism at the DM position for the New York Giants.
Listen, I think he dominated in high school because it was just so easy.
Right.
And he was trying to get to that Division I level and get that scholarship from a team that he wanted to play for. I agree. In college, he was on cruise control. And he did enough. He dominated enough for you to remember what he did in high school to get to college in the first place, and to see flashes on the college tape that he was going to go top 5 regardless. But I agree. I feel like in college, he was waiting to get to this level. And sometimes that backfires on players. Like you cruise control in college and you get to the next level and think, oh, you can just flip a switch, turn it on, and you'll be right back to being one of the most dominant players in the sport. That kind of backfires on some guys. For some reason with Kayvon, he's just so naturally gifted that it did not backfire on him. And I'm happy that it didn't, because he's displaying everything that people thought he was as a freshman in high school. So shout out to Kayvon, man.
Man.
Our next defensive player, Rayshawn Jenkins. He single-handedly helped beat the Cowboys. 18 total tackles, 9 solo, 9 assisted, 2 passes defense. He had 2 interceptions. His second interception, he returned for 6 in overtime to win the game. 27.5 fantasy points. You got your hand up.
I got a question.
What's that?
I've watched this show quite a few times.
Uh-huh.
From my own recollection, I can't remember it. But how many times have you had 2 Jacksonville Jaguars on the same show?
Wow. Have I even had a Jaguar this season?
Not that I remember.
I haven't had a Jaguar this season, and I have 2 this episode.
Crazy,
Thanks
right?
to the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, the Dallas Cowboys will make stuff happen, you know, in a good way. So shout out to the Cowboys for helping my show, you know, branch out and be more broad. Hopefully I can get some more Jaguars fans, because I'm showing their team some love. We got Zay Jones. We got Rayshawn Jenkins. I'm glad I followed my first mind to put 2 defensive performances, because I felt like Thibodeau's performance needed to be, you know, highlighted, but also Rayshawn Jenkins as well, because he had an absolutely outstanding game. And then lastly, Colts defense and special teams. I don't know if we should be celebrating this unit. I mean, they had 7 sacks. They had 2 interceptions. They had 1 forced fumble. They recovered it. They had 1 touchdown, because that was one of the interceptions that they returned. And then they blocked a punt and returned that for a touchdown. That was all in the first half.
Right. Because Lord knows what they did in the second half. They gave up 7,500 points in one half.
Bro, I feel like this week I should have did a first half defense and special teams unit, and then found another team that did really good in the second half. Like I should have separated it by halves, because to see, just look at their faces,
bro.
Just look at how excited all of them are.
The one that everybody posts of us of the Niners a little early, and then they'd be like a few moments later.
A few moments later.
Yeah, and then they have us losing the game. Like, come on, man.
Oh, man.
This picture is crazy.
If you could freeze frame this and just tell them, like, yo, in 30 minutes, y'all not going to feel like this.
Bro, even though y'all up 33-0,
y'all are not going to feel like this. But I guarantee you, every single person in this picture wouldn't even believe us.
How you get 21 points and give up 40? How you get 21 fantasy points but give up 40 real life points?
That's crazy, bro.
I
That's
don't know.
crazy.
It's
But shout out to the Colts defense and special teams, man. They tried. They tried.
That's what you say. They tried.
They tried.
That's what you say when you feel bad for somebody.
What
They
tried.
tried.
They say? Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts.
Yeah, bless their hearts.
Oh man. Okay, let's move into nitty gritty fantasy, man.
Hey.
I talked about this a little bit earlier in the week on my Tuesday show. If y'all can see, the situation was this.
Okay.
It was win, and I'm in.
Right.
Win and I'm in. I go into Monday night. I believe I was up 30 plus points, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, we kind of got this. I look on the other side. My opponent has Dallas Goedert, who got them 0 points. Now my tight end got me 0 points, so you know that evens out. That cancels each other out. The tight ends just didn't show up for both teams, cancel each other out.
Yep.
I see he has Allen Robinson on IR. No points there. That's great. That's beneficial to me.
Amazing.
And then I'm going into Monday night up 30 points. My opponent has 2 running backs from the same team, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. And I said, there's no possible way, Lord, sweet baby Jesus, that both of these dudes can go off. I said, if one of them go off, cool. And I also had Christian Watson on the other side. This is why on my Tuesday show, my one-liner for that game is, I hate both teams. I hate the Rams and the Colts. Because the Rams give up 42.7 points, 20.6 to Aaron Jones, 22.1 to AJ Dillon. Christian Watson doesn't get enough targets, enough receptions. They tried to get him into the end zone late in the fourth quarter. It didn't work. He only gets me 8.6 points. And I lose by less than a full point.
Jeez.
And now I'm out of the playoffs. We're just going to take a look at the standings. I would have been number 4. I'm not hating. Shout out to our brother Mike, 49ers Mike _NFL from Nothing But Niners. He moves into the 4th spot, and he made it into the tournament.
He did.
And I'm stuck at number 5 in the gosh darn consolation game. Yeah. That hurt.
Yes, it did. I feel bad for you. My issue is that in my other league, I had a very similar situation, right? The only thing is I was on the other side of it. So I was going into and obviously this is our week for fantasy. I'm 1 game behind, but I have more points than the person that was in 4th spot. So all I had to do was win, and I'm in. And I go to the matchup, take a look. Monday comes, and I'm down. However, I have 2 players going into Monday. They only have 1 person. So Monday, I'm down, I think, 25 points. They have, I have Christian Watson, and I have Jones, and then they have Lazard. Actually, that's all they had, Lazard. And, man, hold on. I'm just going to pull it up so I can make sure I see exactly what happened. I believe it was Lazard. Aaron Jones gets me the lead. On the same play, he fumbles the ball and loses the lead. He fumbled the ball and lost the lead. So bad this situation is because now they're mad at Aaron Jones. They take him out and they put the other boy in. Big boy is rumbling, stumbling, running people over. And then he gets a concussion, and they take him out and put Aaron Jones in the last drive. And I ended up winning the game because Aaron Jones ended up getting me 20 points.
Yo, GSU on your head. He says, Fair, quit lying. You making that up just so people could think you did something.
I'll show you, man. I'll show you. It's never a lie here, brother. Good, brother. So look, you can see. I don't know if you want to. Boom. So you can see I ended up winning by 5. There we go. Hold up. Let me get it up higher. Oh, right, left. Boom. Aaron Jones. You see they had Lazard.
Yep.
Lazard
Christian only got Watson 8.6. Aaron Jones 20.6.
And I ended up winning by
105 point something to 100. Yep.
Yeah, bro. So I was down a nice little chunk. I was down like 25 points, and I ended up getting 27 or 20. I was down 23 points. I ended up getting 28. And Lazard only got 1.
Well, congratulations to you, man. It didn't end so well for me. But in our main league, our Nitty Gritty Niner League, Fair and the Gods is sitting in second place, ending the season with a record of the regular season, with a record of 10-5. Okay, 10-5. So let's take a look at your playoff matchup. You are going up against the number 3 seed, which is Vince's NJ Red and Gold.
Yeah.
Now, as of right now, I think you might have made some changes when I took this before I took this screenshot. But as of right now, from our screenshot, you're projected to have 111 points versus Vince's 129 points.
Yep.
Now that's just a projection. It's still the same?
Yep. Still accurate.
Okay. So that's the projection. And so let's take a look at your starters. So this is a big one that we got to talk about because right now at quarterback, you're starting Zach Wilson, who actually has a game tonight at 8:15 against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
But that should have been Jalen Hurts, who unfortunately suffered an injury last week and will not be playing this coming Saturday against the Dallas Cowboys. So let's just start there. How does that affect how you're going into this playoff matchup this weekend? Are you going to stick with Zach Wilson, or do you see somebody else that you might want to test the waters with?
Define test the waters. So I get it. I get it. I mean, first and foremost, Jalen Hurts has absolutely carried my team all year. There's just no way around it. He's absolutely carried my team. And I also have Kelsey, who them two have just went crazy. And beyond that, I kind of just interchange folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous now because I got Devontae Smith. I don't know if he's going to get as many touches as he usually does.
Right.
I'm nervous now because I now have to try and go with Zach Wilson, who had a great week last week. But what are we going to look like this week? I look in the players that are available at the quarterback spot, and I'm taking a look now. It's loading up, but we have folks like Mac Jones, who was I'm not sure if he's picked himself up from that stiff arm yet.
Yeah, I don't think his soul has been. I don't think his soul has re-merged with his body yet.
Trey Lance would never. Moving on. Pickett, who's an option. Baker Mayfield, who I would never ever,
and especially not against Denver's defense.
Not against Denver's defense. Nick Foles, McSorley, and Andy Dalton, because Heineke is playing against us, and that's all the way out.
Go a little further down that list.
All right, so if you look at Darnold, Sam Darnold,
no,
is further down the list.
Mm-mm.
Kobe Myers. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Willis? Is that who you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you thinking Willis
Against that Houston defense. I like Nick Foles against the Chargers on Monday night because Nick Foles hasn't played. The Chargers don't have any tape on him with this offense.
Right.
And we know the Chargers defense has been up and down. They've been a little bit spotty.
Right.
But then you got Malik Willis going up against Houston's defense, who they've been playing well, but they've also been giving up a lot of points.
I get that. He just hasn't done much of anything, and I'm nervous about it.
I'm nervous about it too because I feel like, and see, this is the risk versus reward. I think in this situation with Malik Willis, it's more risk because we haven't seen him. Tennessee has no weapons, really.
Yeah.
Outside of Traylon Burks, who just really kind of came into his own. He had a slow start to his rookie year, but he still hasn't solidified himself as a go-to number one option. And I feel like Tennessee is going to try to get out of this game as quickly as they possibly can. So that means it's a lot of running with Derrick Henry. I see 30-plus carries.
Yeah. So you think that they're going to run the ball?
A lot.
And you think that he's going to get the bulk of the carries?
Henry, yes. Not Willis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for Willis? If you had to guess, man, how many points you think Willis is giving him this week?
I'd say anywhere between 10 and 15, which I don't think is enough in the playoffs.
Got it. My thought process is this. All right. Jacksonville's defense played well last week, but they're still like bottom 10 defense in the league, I believe. Right.
And here's what I said when I made my pick video. And what I've started to learn
you pick the Jags?
No, I picked the Jets.
You picked the Jets, okay.
Because one of the things that I've learned coming off of emotional victories like that, there's always a hangover.
And now you
I feel like the Vikings are going to have a hangover by setting a record for the largest comeback in NFL history.
Right.
And I think the Jags are also going to have a hangover. Not to mention, they're coming from Florida where they played at home against the Cowboys in warmer weather, coming up north to play in Jersey where it's raining right now.
It's a little nippy.
It's nippy and it's raining. So that's again, it's risk versus reward. Right. Because it's raining right now, is Zach Wilson going to be throwing the ball all over the field? Like it's pouring down raining right now outside my window. I hear it.
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, this is both these teams should be treating this like a playing game, right?
Absolutely. They both need it.
So I feel like might see a little shootout today.
Okay.
I feel like at the very least, Rob Saleh is not going to allow his quarterback to continue to get the slack and the angry aggression that have been going on towards him. He said as much last week when he was defending Zach. Like, y'all were running this dude down, and look at the great game that he had. Like, he has that ability. So I think now he's trying to prove a point.
Right.
With that, I feel like he's about to allow Zach to go off.
Got you.
And you know, I look at the other guys. I'm not that confident based on either the defensive matchup or just the inexperience of the quarterbacks. He has a little bit of both. But again, I think that Saleh is going to let him do his thing this week. So that's why I went that route.
I can dig it.
I don't know.
Shout out to Brunel Jacobs. He says, "What's up, guys? Do I go Purdy or Minshew? My RBs are Mixon and Swift. Also, my wide receivers are Michael Pittman, Stephon Diggs, and DJ Moore at flex. Is it worth starting Bam Knight over these guys?"
Jesus. Oh man.
I'm assuming Bam Knight is Zonovan Knight, the running back for the Jets.
Yeah.
Over Mixon and Swifty.
Right.
I would say no. I'm trying to look at expected to play for Knight ankle, who was listed as questionable for Thursday night game against
Minshew personally.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going Purdy over Minshew. Washington's defense is solid, but I feel like Kyle has a game plan. And once we start hitting them with all the different options that we have available, definitely go Purdy over Minshew. I think the game plan is going to be simplified for Minshew because he hasn't played. Yeah, Nick Sirianni can say all he wants that Minshew is prepared and ready for this moment.
They're gonna lean on that defense.
But I think Dallas's defense is a little bit better than Washington's defense, in my opinion. And I think the head coach calling the plays, Kyle Shanahan, is better than Nick Sirianni. So I'm definitely going Purdy over Minshew. Running backs, I would stay with Mixon and Swift. I wouldn't start Zonovan Knight. And I think your wide receivers are solid. Pittman is good. I think he's definitely going to get the bulk of the targets from Nick Foles. Stephon Diggs' connection with Josh Allen is top notch, and Sam Darnold better only be looking at DJ Moore. So
yeah, but what are the other options at receiver for Moore?
I would I would want to see Brunell, if you're still in here, who else would you have, on your bench that maybe you could flex for DJ Moore?
Yeah, but you start your studs, man. Pittman and Diggs gotta go.
For sure. Since we on wide receivers, let's take a look at so you got Devontae Smith, who you already talked about,
right?
Worried about his production with no Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
You got Terry McLaurin versus the number one defense in the NFL.
That's current, yes.
And then you have Thielen in the slot. So what are you thinking there? Are there any changes that you are looking to make? Who do you think could be a good fill-in? Let me take a look at the wide receivers that are available.
Some of my options that I have Samuel as well on my bench. And then I
Curtis
also have the one and only Jones. My issue is
Jones.
He went off last week for me.
So
I get nervous when that happens, and I'll be like, ain't no way they about to do that 2 weeks in a row, right?
Right.
But then it's like, man, am I expecting McLaurin to play well against Mooney?
Right.
Because he just shut down DK. DK is better than McLaurin, right?
I would say so.
I'm nervous, to be honest. Fresh was good. So I'm kind of leaning towards. I don't usually play people against my team unless it's somebody elite. Like if I have an elite running back, I have an elite tight end, I'm gonna put them in, right? But if it's somebody like this situation, that's something that I'm probably leaning towards switching and putting my guy Jones in. But again, my bigger question is Smith.
Yeah. Now there's this. So let's put this back. Shout out to Mulberry Group Holds. He says, look, came here to support. Hope y'all are having a great and blessed Christmas. Appreciate you, brother, for tuning in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got Lake City Fresh in the building. Y'all heard the intro. That's this guy, one and only. Check him out on anywhere you get your music streaming.
Amen.
Anywhere. iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. Look up Lake City Fresh, man. I'm not just saying that because he did my intro. I got it. I'll pull it up. I got his music in my rotation right now. When you talk about somebody that's good, and y'all know we know music. Breezy is probably at a gig right now. Fair, the guy is one of the best to come out of Connecticut.
Can I? And
Lake
it's funny.
City Fresh, like we not just saying it to say it. So wherever you get your music, make sure you got Lake City Fresh in your rotation. That's our brother for real. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, real quick off script. I'm sorry. Actually today, you get the Facebook alerts and stuff, right?
Yeah.
From memories. Today, actually 13 years ago, I didn't want to show my age and stuff, but 13 years ago today, my song actually premiered on 106 in Park as a new joint of the day, man. So that was like a big Connecticut history.
That's dope, yo.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
we not faking the funk about this music stuff. Y'all know what it is when we talk about music. So shout out to our sister Tanya Sayal in the building.
Hey.
So Brunel says my bench guys are James Cook, Deion Jackson, Zonovan Knight, Jamison Williams, and Pat Fryermuth. None of these guys are worth starting over more.
I think I would keep
other
more.
than Knight, maybe.
I think I would keep more.
Wait, who does Detroit play?
Detroit plays. I was just looking at that. Oh my goodness! Hold on, brother.
It might. I mean, they play the Panthers.
Panthers. Yep.
No, the Panthers cornerbacks are pretty good.
Oh no, hold up, the Giants.
Who the Giants play?
Ain't that right? Hold up, Detroit.
No, Giants play the Vikings.
There's Panthers. I'm sorry. Yep, it's the Panthers.
Yeah, they play the Panthers. Because I was gonna say Jamison Williams
play Saturday.
Because I'm in Ross St. Brown as the number one, but I feel like Jamison Williams is stepping in as the number two.
Yes,
and he could be a good play here, especially in this game. But the Panthers corners are solid. I feel like C.J. Henderson is starting to find his way, and I think he's comfortable in this scheme. Mm-hmm. And then J.C. Horn has been playing lights out the past couple of weeks. So
I would. I think I would still stick with it. I would stick with more.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
Word.
Tanya says, hey, I want to share with y'all. This is my first year playing fantasy football, and both my teams are in the championships. I might lose, but I made it this far. Listen.
That positive stuff into fruition.
Right. Yeah, we're not talking about you might lose. You in 2 championships.
Word.
So you might come home with 2 rings. We're not talking about we might lose. We might come home with 2 rings in your first year. Listen, that's what we talking about. That's what we want to see. We want to see 2 rings.
Facts.
All right. Let's go to your running backs.
Running backs.
Latavius Murray listed as questionable.
Mm-hmm.
And Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Najee's been a big disappointment this year. I ain't gonna hold you.
He has, but
he's huge disappointment this year.
He still does okay for me every week, and I get my double figures most weeks. He gave me a couple 20-point games, and then the rest has been, low to mid 10s, 15, somewhere around that area.
Oh, okay. I'm about to bring this up.
Let's do it.
Because you better not cat, bro. So the first thing, real question. We saw what KJ Osborne was able to do in the comeback game against the Colts. I know you have Adam Thielen, but would you also consider KJ Osborne?
I have thought about that, right?
Okay.
I have thought about doing that and dropping somebody like from my bench like Mac that I have. Say Jones just had a big week last week. Am I expecting KJ to have another big week again? Like, I get nervous about those random blow-ups. Like, if you get me a normal cool 15 and then you give me 30, cool. But if you would get like 2, and then 28, I'm nervous about that. If I ain't, roll the dice and get that 28, I'm nervous that I'm going to get a 2. So I'll take the 12 over someone that, I'll take the middle road instead of that boom or bust.
Got you.
But it doesn't hurt to add somebody like that, especially when I have, somebody like Patterson on my bench as a running back. I'm cool with adding and getting rid of somebody like Mac or let me just look at who else is on the bench. I mean, I think I actually even have an open spot right now based on how my team is because we could do 2 IRs in our league. So, I mean, It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
And your boy is here.
Hey. Who? Wait, who?
Mr. Third and Jennings.
Oh.
You gonna pick him up and put him on your fantasy team? Mr. Mr. Two Cats for 22 yards. Three catch for 31 yards.
So the issue is, and on another league, I have Ayuk, and he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So how am I gonna make it make sense and put JJ in my lineup?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I just wanted to see if you was gonna cape for him on this show.
Nah, I can't.
Because I get tweeted at every week talking about I don't want to hear no Jennings slander.
Yo, because he does like 2 or 3 of those, you know what I mean? Over the middle, 3rd and 8, sure hand, give me 11 yards, move the chains. When we think that the game is getting tight, you go to JJ and he gets us what we need. I don't know, man. It's wild.
Oh my God. And then Melissa came in here. Shout out to Melissa. She says, Mose and Fair, Merry Christmas, fellas. She's also a Jennings
she's my vice
fan.
president of the JJ fan club. I'm the president and she's the vice president.
Super vice president, bro.
Yes.
All right. Back to the running backs. There's not a lot of love in the running back room.
No.
So are you solid with your running backs, or are you?
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you're thinking about?
So I'm looking at my team right now, and currently I'm thinking I'm going to keep Smith in. I think I'm going to move Thielen to the wide receiver spot. I'm going to probably move my boy Patterson up to the flex spot, and I'm going to wait and see what happens with Murray. I'm a little nervous about Zay Jones. I don't think in that Jets defense, I don't trust that. So I'm going to keep him on the bench. I may pick up. Actually, I think I am. I'm going to do that right now. Boom. I'm going to pick up Osborne.
Okay.
And so if you get an alert, you know why.
Got you.
Yep. So I'm going to pick him up and just keep him as an option, because God forbid if something happens with Murray and Murray goes from questionable to out, then I can throw Patterson to the running back spot and then move KJ to the flex.
Bet. Okay, tight end Travis Kelce. Do you want to make any changes there?
No.
Kicker Jake Elliott. I don't think you need to make any changes there. And I feel like if Gardner Minshew just doesn't make mistakes,
right,
I feel like this could be a defensive game that could come down to the field goal kickers. And I think Jake Elliott has been solid all season.
Yes, I agree.
And then last question for you, brother, start or sit. Green Bay's defense versus this Miami offense.
I'm sorry. Right before the show, I dropped them actually, and I picked up the Rams defense.
The Rams going against the.
I'm sorry, the Raid. Hold up, no, yeah, it was the Rams. They're going against Denver.
The Broncos.
Yeah.
Now is Russell playing or is Rippon still playing?
It's. I think it's 50-50 right now.
It's still 50-50. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I mean, and even if Russ was playing, I'm not.
Not worried about their offense. Because available defenses are Washington versus 49ers. Absolutely not. Raiders versus Pittsburgh. That could be promising.
Raiders, Pittsburgh.
Just because Pittsburgh offense is up and down with Kenny Pickett.
Correct.
And then Giants at Minnesota. That could be a shootout, so I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Chicago, Buffalo, Houston, and Tennessee.
Is available as well, and they're playing Houston. That's one that, kind of is intriguing. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, why did they put me in the middle? Yeah, Tennessee versus Houston. Because there was a stretch where I picked up every defense that played the Houston Texans. I one week it was the Browns. I got like 30-something points. The next week it was the Chiefs. I got it wasn't the Chiefs. It was somebody else. It was like 3 games where I picked up the defense that was playing Houston because their offense wasn't able to do anything. I'm just so leery about Tennessee because they're so up and down.
Right. That's
Kansas
the thing.
City versus Seattle. might be a solid one too.
I was looking at that too, bro. So my two,
and even Detroit versus Carolina, because Detroit has been balling lately.
My
so
top
you got options, bro.
Right. I'm debating about Tennessee, and I'm debating about Kansas City. So Tennessee just makes me nervous because I know they had a stretch where they gave up negative points.
Yeah.
Like 1 week it was 4 points they had, then the next week it was 2 points they had, then they gave up negative 2 points, so they're giving points back, then they had -4. So I'm like, oh man, these dudes is bugging. Then last week they had 8 points. So it's like, all right, maybe they're on the upward trend back to normalcy, and it doesn't hurt when
and even the first time they played Houston, they only scored 9 points.
They only scored 9, but if you see like Indy the week before they had 19. Denver they had 12. Indy the first time they had 10. So it's like, man, they either are like on a good trend and they do well, or they're on a bad trend, and this looks like they're trending back up.
And this is a home game for Tennessee, so it's not at Houston. It's in Tennessee.
Right. And we all know they're going to run the ball, right?
Right.
So that Houston might not get a lot of touches.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you got options. Options.
I do. How are we feeling? How are we feeling?
How are you feeling?
I mean, right now, without Hurts, it hurts. And man, I'm used to getting that 25-30 points from my quarterback.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it on Zach tonight to at least give me a dub. If Zach can give me a dub tonight, I'll feel better. And
this is crazy. Why did they adjust Travis Kelce's projected points?
What did they adjust it to?
I'm looking at it now. And so on the screen, let me pull it back up.
Yep.
Right now, the picture the screenshot that I took, his projected points is 21.97, right?
Yep, now he's at 20.04.
20.4. How did they adjust it like that?
So wild. I don't know. Did something happen with Seattle's defense that they want to take another point away?
I unless they got Jamal Adams back, which I know that didn't happen.
Nah, Jamal watching like us.
Right.
Man.
Let's see. Good brother, we will be watching this matchup. And of course, as family, no disrespect to Vince, but we got a bias. We're wishing you the best of luck to get through this semifinal round and to make it to the championship.
Right.
That is going to do it for our show this evening. I'll let you open it up to you, give you your final thoughts, and then we'll close it up and get on out of here.
Man, just grateful, thankful for you for having me on the show. Appreciate everybody tuning in, even GSU. Everybody that's locked in, man. But in all seriousness, man, I hope everybody has a great holiday. Hope y'all enjoy your time with your family, and just kick back and watch us work this weekend, because we're gonna get this dub.
Absolutely. That's 2 dubs. Fair gonna get his dub in his
Double
fantasy playoff. Our Niners, most of us are Niner fans in here. We're gonna get this dub on Saturday against the Washington Commanders. As Fair said, man, happy holidays to everyone out there, to whatever it is that you celebrate. We just hope that you do it safely. We hope that it's a joyous time for you, that you spend that time with family, that you're surrounded by love, you're surrounded by light. And if anything else, we love you, because that's part of the Mose Knows brand. Once you're part of the Mose Knows family, we love you, and there's nothing you could do about it. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.